So welcome to the gentle yoga class. Starting in child's pose, big toes together, knees apart. And if you need any support behind the knees with a blanket or a bolster or anything like that, then go ahead and do that, or even underneath the knees. And Robin, are you comfortable enough here to be here for a few moments?
Yeah.
Okay. All right, so extending the arms, letting your forehead rest on the mat or your fists. And just begin to breathe. This is a good way to let the belly hang, to really just open up the front of the body, but still feel the back of the body. And just have the rib cage expanding on all sides as you inhale. So start to hop on that wave of a nice, slow, steady breath. And it's a new month, so we have a new theme for the studio, which is sadhana. And sadhana is a Sanskrit word, and what it translates to is having a methodical discipline to get you to your desired knowledge or goal. And that could be, it is with yoga, but the thing about sadhana is that everything you do is part of that goal. So we're not just talking about coming to the mat, doing the poses and breathing and, all of that. The way that you sit off of the mat, the way that you breathe throughout the day, the energy that you give off, the emotions that you have, you're using everything around you as a tool for your growth. That is sadhana. So for your practice this morning, it could be anything. It could be something small or big, anything that comes to the surface of what you need to focus on or work through to be part of your growth today. Keep that in the front of your mind, that first thing that pops in. And then we'll just take a few more breaths here. And we're going to move slowly, through the whole class really, but especially in the beginning. Just go ahead and if your hands are not on the mat, bring them back to the mat. Lift to the head and walk. Walk the hands to the right. Open up the left side of the body. Once you reach that left hand as far as you can, soften towards the floor. Just continue to breathe. And then go ahead, inhale, lift, and begin to walk your hands off to the left. So all the way off the mat, reach the right hand as far as you can, and then settle down towards the floor. Go ahead, inhale, lift, walk your hands back to center, and then come up to hands and knees underneath the hips, fingers nice and spread. And we're going to do our cat pose here. So inhale, lift the tail, lift the chin, and we'll go very slowly. So nice slow breaths here. And then exhale, arch, drop the head. Continue to go back and forth. You can still have your eyes closed here. Just feel the knees, the tops of the feet, and the hands on the mat as you move back and forth. Do a couple more rounds. And then go ahead and come back to neutral. So flat back. And then we're going to take the hip and the head and point them in the same direction. So just making like a letter C with our body. So your head bends to the right towards the right hip. And then the other way, the head goes towards the left and the left hip. Come back to center. We're going to lower ourselves down onto the mat. So you could stay on your knees and just gently lower down all the way to the belly. Use your left arm as a pillow. Take the right foot or ankle with your right hand. Use a strap if you need to. And bring the heel towards the body. We're going to rest on the left arm and press the hips into the floor. And so ideally, you're probably going to feel a stretch in the front of the right leg in the quadriceps. But you might feel it in the hips too. Or even the ankle. Could be anywhere. Wherever your body needs it, you're going to feel it. We'll go ahead and release on your next exhale and switch arms. So rest on your right arm. Be sure the neck is neutral. Grab your left foot or ankle if you can, and bring the heel towards the body. Still keep the shoulders away from the ears, so pay attention to that. And then go ahead and release on an exhale. We're just going to kind of flip over like a pancake. So bring yourself to your back and lie down. You can have the knees bent because we're going to go ahead and hug the knees. But as we are hugging the knees, we're going to cross at the ankles and try to grab the feet. So if you cannot grab the feet, that's fine. Just keep on with the knees. But if you can grab the feet and pull the feet towards the body, we're going to rock back and forth that way. Just releasing some stagnant energy here, and then also giving the lower back a stretch. And then go ahead and switch feet. Even if you are holding on to the knees, switch your ankles. And again, if you're able to grab the feet, bring them towards the body. Otherwise, just hold on to the knees and rock. And then go ahead and release. So bring the feet to the floor. Straighten the left leg and lengthen through the heel. So get really long in that left leg and let the right foot come as close to the body as possible. Drop the knee out to the right. So let's open this hip up a little bit here. You can keep your hands on the belly for this one. We're just going to breathe. Keep the left leg active. That's going to help in opening the right inner thigh, the adductors, and the hip joint. Take one more breath here. And then go ahead and bring this right knee up towards the ceiling carefully. We're going to bend the left knee and now take this right leg into a figure four or pigeon. So right ankle to left knee. And now we're going to open up the back of the leg. So interlace your fingers behind the left leg and draw that left leg towards the body. Keep the feet flexed. Stabilize the knee and the right leg. And the shoulders stay soft here. We're going to be here for a good 10 breaths. Go ahead and bring the left foot to the floor and then the right foot to the floor. Okay, one more thing with this leg. Straighten the left leg once again. Bring the right knee towards the body. Just hug it up as close as you can. And now we're going to take this into a twist. So keep the foot flexed. Use your hands to drop this knee off the left side of the mat. Once your knee is off to the left, extend your right arm out to the right. Inhale, come back to center. Nice and slow. It's a pretty deep twist for the spine. Go ahead and straighten the right knee. Bend the left, heel up towards the body, and then drop it out to the left. So we're in the supine tree. The foot can touch the inner thigh or not, as long as you feel like the left hip is opening. So move your foot however you need to on the leg to make that happen. The right leg stays active. And again, you can keep your hands on the belly, or this time you can bring the arms overhead. So open up the chest. On your next exhale, go ahead and bring the arms down. And then use your hand to help this left knee up. We're going to bend the right knee. So both knees are bent now. And then the left foot is coming to the right thigh. So we can do this pigeon pose. Interlace the fingers behind the right thigh and draw the knee towards the body. Keep both feet flexed here, shoulders soft, and breathe. And your next exhale, go ahead and bring the right foot down and then the left. Straighten the right leg, hug the left knee up towards the body. We're going to bring this into a twist on the other side, but first lengthen through the right heel, get that leg nice and long. And then we'll take this knee and drop it off the right side of the mat. And then go ahead and extend the left arm. So there's a possibility of your shoulder, your left shoulder not touching the floor. You can put a blanket underneath your arm to support, or just keep your arm a little bit lower towards the body. The stretch will be okay as long as you don't get any tingling in the arm. If you do, definitely bring the arm down closer to the body. Go ahead, come back to center. Nice and slow. Bring that left foot down, bend the right knee, and just a regular hug of the knees here. So be sure your pelvis is centered first. Hug the knees up towards the body one at a time, and then rock left to right. And then bring your feet back to the mat, straighten the legs, take a stretch here. Just stretch out those from the twist, the hip flexors, just lengthen the whole body here. Circle the wrists and ankles. And then bend the knees, bring the arms down, roll onto your side and sit up. Just come into regular, easy pose. You doing good? I like your shirt, by the way, Robin. I forgot to tell you. It looks good on you. Okay. So having the legs crossed, we're going to actually undo this a little bit. So get the top foot a little bit further away from the bottom foot. So not a regular crossing of the legs, but just getting into those hips again, just a little bit. And, you know, if this feels unstable for the top knee, you can put a blanket under that. Okay. Fingertips on the floor in front of the legs. We're going to start to walk. This is basically just another version of pigeon. You might not go very far. That's completely fine, but you also might feel it in the outside of the right leg. So instead of doing something like sitting down with our leg extended behind us, this is just another way to get into that same spot. So once you arrive at the edge of where your body wants to be, take some breaths. We're going to take another 10 breaths here. Go ahead, inhale, come up, nice and slow. Let the back of the body lead you up. And then we'll straighten the legs out for a moment and kind of bounce the knees before we move on to the other side. So cross the legs once again, but open up your easy pose. And whatever leg was on the bottom before is now on the top. Fingertips on the floor in front of you. Keep the chest lifted, shoulders back. So even if you only go a centimeter, you know, if you're obviously can only go that far because your legs are stopping you. So you need to be there. And this is fine. Just go as far as you can in a safe way. And then breathe. 10 breaths here. And then inhale, come all the way up. Straighten the legs out. Get some relief on the back of the leg. And then we're gonna open this up a little bit more. So moving along, bending the right knee, dropping it out to the side. We're just gonna fold over the left leg now. So inhale, get tall first, and then exhale, reach forward. So you'll feel this more in the actual hamstrings and directly in the back of the body, or the back of the leg, I mean. This is the back of your body. And remember, you can use a strap here if you have it, or just keep your fingertips on the ground. You don't have to reach for the toe, but if you can, then do it for sure. Keep breathing. Inhale, come all the way up. Right leg extends. Bend the left knee, close the knee joint first, drop it out to the side. Inhale, lengthen. And then exhale, fold over your right leg. Notice any differences. Notice how you're talking to yourself, things like that too. So when we come into areas that are extra tight, you know, the first thing that pops up is something negative for sure. But I mean, look at you, you're on the floor, you're doing yoga, you showed up on your mat this morning. So these are all good things. Here for just a few more breaths. Inhale, come all the way up. Just bend this right knee because we're going to bring the bottoms of the feet together and drop the knees out to the side. When we fold forward, we're going to actually push the spine towards the back of the body and bring the shoulders forward, coming into like the letter C. So inhale, lengthen first, and then exhale, stretch the back of the body, drop the top of the head towards the feet, and breathe here. Inhale, come all the way up. Use your hands to bring the knees back together. And then go ahead and come to hands and knees. I stretch the wrists a little bit. Okay, so with the knees bent, you can curl the toes under and kind of sit back on the heels a little bit. This can be really painful, I know. That's why we call it toe torture pose for a reason. But try to deal with it. And if it gets to be too much, just come out of it. You can have your hands on the mat still because we're going to stretch the wrists while we also stretch the toes. So take the top of the right hand and place it on the mat and straighten the arm. So even if your wrist is lifted a little bit off the mat, you should feel a stretch in the forearm here and the wrist. And then go ahead, one more breath and we'll release. Shake it out a little bit. And then other side, top of the hand, press it. And with what's going on with the toes, you can uncurl at this point, or you can just start to spread from big toe to pinky toe and try to get more into the foot. And if you're not there yet, that's fine. Eventually, if you keep doing stuff like this, you will get there. It'll get to a point where it's not as painful. Go ahead and release, shake it out. Hands to the mat, lift yourself up, uncurl the toes and tap the tops of the feet and the toes into the mat just to release them. And then we'll get ready for our down dog. So first down dog of the day, moving right along. Curl the toes back under, lift the hips up and back, press the palms into the mat, and get your ears lined up with the inner arms. Start to pedal the feet, nice and slow. We're just moving in this slow, easy mindset this morning. Slow, easy breath. And so we're going to come to a standing position, but I'd like to reverse it today. So once you're done pedaling the feet, go ahead and come to stillness. And then we're going to separate the feet all the way to the edges of the mat and start to walk the hands towards the feet. You can bend the knees here whenever or if you need to bend the knees. But keep the legs strong because we're going to just hang the upper body forward here. Let the head hang. Keep the fingertips though this time. We're going to sway with the fingertips touching the mat. So just sway a little bit left to right. Be sure the head is completely dangling. And know all the good things that you're doing by letting the blood rush to the head when your head is below the heart. So many good physical things for the body. Now lift the head nice and slow. We'll walk the feet a little bit closer together and then bring our hands up to our upper legs, our thighs. So there's a halfway lift here. Sitting bones are lifted, back is flat, shoulders are back. So paying attention to our alignment here too. And then with all four corners pressing into the feet, we'll inhale the arms all the way up. Bring the palms together and exhale, hands in front of the heart. Just pause here for a moment and breathe. Go ahead and release the hands, walk to the front of your mat. We're going to do 2 rounds of Sun Salutation A. So plant the feet, let the arms hang for a moment. Let the shoulder girdles support you. Zip up the abdominals. Lift the collarbones towards the ceiling. So standing in our mountain pose for just a moment. And then we'll go ahead and inhale, lift the arms up, nice and slow. And exhale, fold. Also nice and slow, bend the knees, drop the head. Inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale, step back. You can bring your knees to the ground and lower yourself slowly and carefully. Inhale, press the hips, but lift the chest, shoulders, and head. And then we're going back into child's pose for 5 breaths. You could do whatever you'd like with your hands. You can bring the palms together and drop them behind the neck, or you can grab the feet. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Bring your hands to the mat if they're not there already. Lift yourself to hands and knees. Curl the toes under, lift the hips up and back. And then inhale, look up and step forward. Exhale, fold. And inhale all the way up. Palms together, exhale, hands in front of the heart. One more time, release the hands, Inhale, reach up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, look up. And exhale, step back. Lower yourself in chaturanga, but use your knees. Inhale, lift to a cobra, so just chest, shoulders, and head. And then shift back to child's pose for 5 breaths. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Hands back to the mat if they're not already, and lift yourself to hands and knees. Curl the toes under, hips up and back to downward facing dog. And then inhale, look up, step forward. Exhale, fold. Inhale all the way up, palms together. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. Good. Release the hands. Inhale, bring the arms up. We're going to interlace the fingers, and exhale, bring the hands down in front of the heart. 2 more times. Inhale, reach up. Open up the lungs, interlace the fingers. Exhale, hands in front of the heart. 1 more time. Inhale up. Interlace the fingers, and exhale, bring it down into the heart. Inhale, reach up. Grab the left wrist, and exhale, lean to the right. Come back to center, grab the right wrist, and exhale, lean to the left. Come back to center, release the arms, grab the wrists or the elbows. If you can reach the elbows, grab the elbows behind the back. Watch your feet. Be sure that your inner edges of the feet are lined up. Your in Tadasana legs or mountain pose legs. Look over the right shoulder as far as you can, however far the neck will take you. And then bring your chin to the chest, roll it across. Look over the left shoulder. Don't let the body twist at all. Keep the body straight forward, just moving the neck and head. Roll across the other way. Nice and slow, untangle any knots. And keep the eyes closed here. Just continue to breathe and roll back and forth. Make sure you're getting a stretch in the back of the neck as you do this, and the sides too. One more time. Wherever you are, just roll across one more time. And then head back to center and release. Okay, so we're going to take the left leg back. And we're going to keep the heel down first because we're going to come into a warrior 1. But then I'm going to ask you to open up into a twist. And if you need to lift your heel here for your hips, then you can go ahead and do that, okay? But first, press the outer edge of the back foot, bend into the front knee, hips are pointing forward. And we'll inhale and bring the arms up. Just bring them up as high as they'll go. Soften the shoulders down. Release the tailbone towards the floor. And breathe here. Reach through the fingertips. Now bring the palms together. Bring your palms pointing straight forward. And then go ahead and just slide the arms open into this twist. And if your hips and your ankle and your knee are okay here, stay here. Otherwise, lift the back heel. And then go ahead and bring the palms back together. And then we'll hop to Tadasana. Good, and do the other side, right leg back. Warrior one first. Have your feet far enough apart, not lengthwise, but widthwise, so that your hips can wrap all the way forward. Bend into the front knee. The glutes are engaged. Inhale, bring the arms up. Wrap your pinkies towards each other so you can ground the shoulders. Gather at the lower belly, in and up. Go ahead and bring the palms together. Point the fingers straight forward or the hands straight forward, and then start to slide the arms open, lifting that back heel if you need to. And then palms together and exhale back to the front of your mat. Good. Take a wide stance. So turning sideways on your mat, toes pointing forward. We're just going to do a nice forward fold here, but we're going to bring our arms into it. So I want you to interlace the fingers behind the back where the palms are facing each other. Inhale, lift the chest. And then exhale, fold forward. Bring your knuckles or your hands off the back body if you can. Bring them up as high as you can. If they can go up towards the ceiling, do that. Legs are strong. Drop the head. We're going to inhale and come all the way up. Good. And then exhale, walk the feet back together. We'll just do a simple tree pose today. And if you would like to keep the heel on the floor, you can. If you're ready to just have a little bit more of a challenge for today's class, you can lift the foot. But we'll go ahead and get solid on our left leg first. We'll have our focus point first and our hands in front of our heart. From here, we'll lift the right heel and decide what we want to do. Once your leg is where you want it, everywhere but the knee joint, don't put it on the knee joint. Go ahead and keep the hips forward while you open your knee and breathe. If you want to extend the arms, you can extend the arms or stay where you are. Feel the strength in your left leg supporting you. Go ahead and bring the knee forward, extend the leg, and back to mountain pose. Good. That was a good lift, Robin. That was high. All right, other side. Get solid in the right leg, lift the left heel. Hands in front of the heart, have your focus point, and know what your breath is doing. And then move with the breath. Keep everything lifted in and up. And then go ahead and point the knee forward, extend the leg, and release. Good. Separate the feet. Toes point out because we're coming into a squat. So we're going to do the best we can and lift the heels up if we need to. Inhale, bring the arms up. Palms together. Exhale, bring the hands down. Squats are very difficult. So if this is difficult, don't be alarmed. Do the best you can just to bring the tailbone down to the floor as you lift the heels. Good. And if you can balance on the balls of the feet and bring your hands together, do that. So we can open up the knees. But even if your hands are on the floor, you can certainly press the knees open. We're going to do one last twist here before we lie down. So take your left hand, plant it onto the floor, but it's still pushing this left knee open because we're going to reach the right fingertips up. And then bring the right hand down, plant it on the floor, press the right knee open, and left fingertips up. Bring the left hand down. Bring your hands behind you for support and have a seat. And then just go ahead and go all the way down onto your back. Knees bent here so the spine and everything can settle. We're going to do bridge pose, and then we're going to put the legs up, and then it will be time for Shavasana. Hooray. So bend the knees, heels towards the body. You don't have to go crazy with this. I mean, even if you're just lifting a little bit, your spine is going to be extended. So go ahead and press the feet. Inhale, lift the pelvis, and breathe. Try to take 2 more breaths here. And then lower pelvis to the floor, unwind the spine. I want you to lift so that you can flatten the lower back on the mat. And as you flatten the lower back on the mat, bring the knees towards the body. Just to do a counter stretch here. Just one hug or a little rock back and forth. And then bring the feet back down. If you have a block, you're going to use a block here. If you don't have a block, you're just going to make a diamond shape with your hands and use that to support your sacrum. So whatever you have, put it underneath the pelvis, on the sacrum, the flat part of underneath the spine and above the tailbone. And once your sacrum is supported, bring the left leg straight up. And then the right leg. Get your feet and legs as close together as possible. And we want to try to be as close to a 90-degree angle as possible too. So if your feet are too close to the head, then they're not going to rest as much. And if they're too far away, then your abdominals are just going to take over. So see if you can just get them straight up towards the ceiling. That way the belly can be soft. Just a few more breaths here. Notice any sensations. And then we'll bring the left leg down first. So very mindfully, just start to bend that left leg. Feel how the sensations change as you do that. Bring the left foot to the floor. And then bend the right, nice and slow. Bring the right foot to the floor. Lift the pelvis. Release the hands or the block. And then one last time, we're going to bring the knees up towards the body. And you can do happy baby here or just hugging the knees. But if you'd like to grab the insides of the legs, or if you can reach the bottoms of the feet, press the knees towards the floor. If happy baby is your choice, this is what we're doing. Rock back and forth either way. And then go ahead and bring the knees towards each other. Drop the feet, straighten the legs. One last long stretch. Point the toes, rotate the ankles, Same thing with the hands and the arms and the wrists. If you feel like your body needs anything else here, like another twist or something like that, then go ahead and take it. Otherwise, bend your knees. If you are putting on a sweatshirt or socks, you want to roll onto your side to get up safely. If you're ready for Shavasana, just bring the arms down. Palms will face up, making sure you have everything out of the way. So your hands are touching nothing, your feet are touching nothing. And feel the parts of the body that are touching the mat. So the back of the head, the shoulder blades, and the rib cage. And then you have a nice curve in the lower spine. Your pelvis will be touching. And then maybe parts of the legs, definitely the heels. Feel all those parts begin to sink into the mat as you breathe and let go. Noticing any sounds that are happening around you. Just for a moment, bringing your awareness to the room that you're lying in. And then bringing your awareness to the sound of the breath in the body. How it feels entering the nostrils and how it feels exiting the body. Enjoying these next few moments of rest. Bring your awareness back to your breath. And allow your inhalations to begin to deepen. Feeling your exhalations beginning to lengthen. Bring awareness to your fingers and toes, starting to bring movement to them. And then gently bringing that into the wrists and the ankles. Until maybe you're taking another stretch or another hug of the knees, whatever feels good here. Go ahead and roll onto your right side using your arm as a pillow. And take a pause here. And let the head stay heavy as you push yourself slowly to a seated position. Bringing your hands together in front of your heart. Thank you for letting me guide you today. The teacher in me honors and appreciates the teacher in you. Thank you. Thank you so much.